It's embarrassing, man. It really is. I'm going to say this right now. Oklahoma State and Louisville, they wouldn't even win 6 games in the SEC. And the fact they're going to the conference championship just rubs me the wrong way. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the Week 13. And you know what? Now that I think about it, this is extremely sad. Because this is the last recap. Wow. Holy crap. The mood of this video just got killed. This is the last recap of the college football regular season. Okay, let's pick up the energy back because I don't want to kill the entire vibe and tone of this video because I'm as high as you could ever be. I'm an Alabama fan. If you know, you know. I'll put it to you like this. This recap, it's bittersweet. It's sweet because, hey, we're going to talk about college football, but it's bitter because this is the last one for the regular season at least. We got a couple more to go, and I don't even want to think about the college football season coming to an end, so let's just lock in and let's focus on the games that happened yesterday. And I can't get over this, guys. I can't get over this. Rival week, the final week of college football, there wasn't a single upset, not one. And if you're going to try to point towards Kentucky beating Louisville as an upset, that ain't no upset because we know Louisville's fraudulent. I mean a real deal big time upset. There wasn't even one. There was some extremely close calls with Washington and Washington State. We'll talk about that in just a second. And also Auburn and Alabama. But close doesn't count in any sport of college football at least. And yeah, the premise of this video is relatively simple. We're going to recap the games. I can't dumb it down to you any more than that. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving weekend. And more importantly, I hope you watch college football all day long like me myself on Saturday. Yesterday was one of those days I think I'm going to look back on a couple years and be like, man, that was the perfect and ideal dream day for me. There's just something about watching some good college football games from 11 a.m. all the way to 11 p.m. the same night. I love it, man. I love it. I think you guys know that. But all right, man, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, first things first, we will not be starting out with our 11 a.m. games because we had some teams play on Friday. We did have Ole Miss play on Thursday night, but not too much to be said about that game. You beat Mississippi State, they're not that good, but congratulations to Ole Miss on going 10-2. They overexceeded expectations. Fast forward time to Friday night. What about this? Oklahoma, looking like a basketball score, beat TCU 69-45. No, it's not basketball, it's football. Congratulations to them. Iowa, I watched this game from start to finish. I'm not surprised yet again. It's the most Iowa game of all time. What I'm about to say sums up Iowa football the best. Them throwing an interception with under, what was it, a minute and a half to go in the game actually helped them win the game. Because on one of the following plays, they didn't get an interception that puts them into field goal range. What a win for Iowa, and we can joke on them all we want, say they don't score a lot of points, but they win games. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other teams out here that don't care how they would win games. They'd love to be sitting pretty at 10-2. Granted, Iowa plays in the worst division in Power 5 football, but who cares? 10-2. Congratulations to them. Moving on to Friday, Missouri beat the crap out of Arkansas. Expected Arkansas sucks. And what about this? Texas finally looking like big, bad Texas. They go out there and dominate Texas Tech in what some could say was a trap game. I think a lot of people are going to overlook that win for Texas, but to me at least, there's something to be said about a team taking care of business. That was an awesome win. In Oregon, same thing. I picked them to win, and there's something to be said about a team taking care of business. Oregon sitting pretty. They got the matchup with Washington, and it's going to be interesting to see how these play out. Oregon and Texas, because I even think of this scenario. What if Florida State wins out and Georgia beats Alabama? Well, if Texas is ranked behind Oregon and Oregon beats Washington, and that's a great quality win, dude, Texas is going to get left out of the playoff even if they win the Big 12 championship. We're getting a little too far ahead of ourselves, but just something to think about. That's it for Thursday and Friday. Moving along to our Saturday games, man, this game did not disappoint. Ohio State and Michigan. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I've already made 2 separate videos. If you saw the game, you know how it went. And what am I even talking about? I probably shouldn't even talk about this game at all because if you even are a casual, you had to watch this game, right? I did pick Michigan to win this game, so it feels good to be right on a big-time game, and yeah, not surprised. New year, same story. Ryan Day got out-coached. He has better talent, better players than Michigan, and he can't beat Michigan. You can't make it up. And this year, Michigan didn't even have their freaking head coach, man. What a shame. I don't want to take anything away from Michigan because that was a great win from them. They looked awesome, but It's more so of Ohio State can't beat Michigan. Ryan Day's a fraud, man. He's a fraud. Moving along here to another 11 a.m. game that went under the radar because who cares about this game? Everybody's watching Michigan and Ohio State. We have Louisville and Kentucky. Me personally, not shocked whatsoever. Louisville is a fraudulent team. It's a flat-out shame. They're even in the ACC championship, but it's the ACC. They suck. When a bottom feeder in the SEC beats a team that's in the ACC championship, it should tell you all you need to know. Kentucky gets another win over Louisville. What's new there? And LSU and Jaden Daniels looks like the front runner for the Heisman. He comes out on a win and ends on a bang. Beats A&M 42-30. Arizona, they take care of business. By the way, there might not be a well, let me change that. There is some hotter teams, but I don't know. Arizona's got to be up there. They've been on a roll in the later half of this season. They cruised by Arizona State. And what about this? Oklahoma State, they're trailing. I believe they was trailing at half. Was it 24-6? They win in double overtime against sorry and sucky BYU. Congratulations, I guess. They play Texas. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if Oklahoma State would have lost this game, that means Oklahoma would have been in the Big 12 championship. And I'll be honest, it's an absolute shame that Oklahoma State's in the Big 12 championship because Oklahoma is the only team that can beat Texas. I expect Texas to blow out Oklahoma State. That sucks, but hey, I can't be too mad about it because Oklahoma State did beat Oklahoma. Moving on down here to our night games. Oh yeah, not going to talk about Alabama and Auburn because obviously I've already talked about them a lot. The other game that was going on during the Iron Bowl was Washington and Washington State. Yet again, another close and competitive rival matchup, and your casual fans are going to run to the comment section and say, oh, I can't believe Washington struggled yet again with another team, and they struggled with Washington State and blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm all for saying, yeah, Washington State hasn't looked pretty this year, but it's a rival game. I always give teams the benefit of the doubt in a rival game. I don't care if you're favored by 30. I don't care if Washington State was 0-11 heading into this game. If it's close, I'm not counting it against you. As long as you win, you're good in my books. Washington State, similar to Auburn, gave Washington their best shot, and it wasn't enough. But what about this at the end of that Washington State game? Washington has the ball in their own territory. It's 4th and 1, and they go for it. The game was tied. If they don't get that, Washington State more than likely can kick a game-winning field goal. Absolute craziness, but I like it because Washington's head coach, he was playing to win the game, and they did. They made the game-winning field goal. That was a big win for them. They're sitting pretty at 12-0. Heading on to our night games, I was rooting for you, Florida. Good gosh almighty. We needed you. We needed you badly, and you couldn't pull it off. They jump out on Florida State in the Seminoles early, up 12-0, but they couldn't do anything with that backup quarterback. And by they, I'm talking about Florida. Max Brown looked like a deer in headlights. And at the end of the game, everybody's talking about, oh, if Florida wouldn't have had that targeting call when it was 17-15, they would have got the ball back. Okay, it didn't matter if Florida would have got the ball back. They were not going to score. Their offense was abysmal, and their defense, it was kind of crumbling there at the end of the game. Florida State walks out there with a win. I personally do not think Florida State's even a top 6 or 7 team. So, yeah, it is what it is. A lot of people aren't going to like that, but there's no way anybody can watch this Florida State team play with their backup quarterback and tell me for a split second that they're better than Texas, Washington, Oregon, and Alabama. No way. The Rodemaker dude's playing okay, but he's not no Jordan Travis, and putting this Florida State team into the playoff, even if they win out, would be a mistake. I tell you right now, Florida State has no shot of winning a championship. None. They play Georgia tomorrow. Georgia's beating them by 20. It's as plain and as simple as that. Speaking of Georgia, they also played tonight, and what about this? I'm not going to say they struggled with Georgia Tech. It's more suave. It's a rival matchup in Georgia Tech. Same thing for every game. Gave them their best shot. And I think most people that didn't watch this game are going to point to the score and go, oh, Georgia only beat Tech by 8 points? Man, they must have struggled Saturday. And no, I strongly disagree. And Kirby Smart even said the same thing in the post-game interview because they asked him. They was like, oh, yeah, you didn't look good today. What was going on? And Kirby Smart was like, what do you mean? I'm just happy we won the game. And what has happened is Kirby Smart and all these teams like Bama and Washington, they're victim to their own success. Whenever you beat your rival, it's now getting to the point where it's not enough. It's enough for the fan bases, but I mean to other fans out there. I just firmly believe a lot of people out here don't understand how the sport of college football works. Georgia Tech could have been 0-11 in this game, and they were going to give Georgia their best shot. Same thing for the Iron Bowl, same thing for Washington State. It's rival week, man. Anything and everything can happen. Nothing's off the table. Now, don't get it twisted. I don't think Carson Beck and that entire Georgia team played amazing, but they didn't play awful. And to be honest, I was just happy it was somewhat entertaining because that was really the only good game that was on at night. Unless you care about Clemson, Kansas State, and NC State, and I just can't get up for those games because there's no ramifications on the line. And that's why I'm excited for the 12-team playoff because teams like Clemson, Kansas State, and NC State, they're playing for nothing. Whereas if Clemson, and I know this ain't the case, but if they was ranked 14th in the country against South Carolina. Yeah, that game might have mattered, but since you're not, it doesn't matter. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I know it was extremely short, but that's all she wrote. There's not too much to say. There wasn't any upsets. And I can't emphasize this enough. I'm not going to be too critical on any of these teams for playing a close game against their rival. It was an awesome weekend of college football, though, and hopefully, and I am praying to the football gods that Florida State loses next week, or Texas loses, or heck, maybe, and I just don't see it. There's probably like a 0.001% chance of this happening. Maybe somehow, some way, Iowa upsets Michigan. I just want to see an upset. One, I want to see an upset because I like upsets. Who doesn't like upsets? And two, I'm an Alabama fan. I need at least one of those to happen because obviously it looks like the committee is not going to put us in, even with a win against Georgia. And all of that doesn't even matter. If Georgia beats us, well, yeah, just doesn't matter. We got to take care of business, but obviously it looks like we're going to need a little help as well. And I'll let you know right now, I'm not feeling very confident because I don't believe in Oklahoma State. They suck. I don't believe in Iowa. They're just not going to be able to compete with Michigan. And yeah, of course I don't believe in Louisville. They also suck. It's an absolute shame. It really is. That Oklahoma State and Louisville are playing in their conference championships. It is. It's embarrassing, man. It really is. I'm going to say this right now. Oklahoma State and Louisville, they wouldn't even win 6 games in the SEC. And the fact they're going to the conference championship just rubs me the wrong way. It's ridiculous, and it's straight up BS. That's all I got. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.